I just know that God is punishing me for being gay. I just know it," says the young man on the other end of the phone line as I stare into the wall heater on the other side of the secretary's desk. I've been sitting at this desk clutching this phone for over 20 minutes because this young man tells me he is actively contemplating suicide. He appears to have a plan, and I am terrified. He continues, "Doesn't the Bible say it is a sin for a man to be attracted to another man? How can God ever forgive me?" He says his name is Sam, but he will not tell me his last name. He's somewhere in my same city of Sacramento, but he will not tell me where. Although it's already 9:30 p.m., I offered to meet him somewhere, anywhere, but he prefers to keep talking on the phone. So I keep talking and continue clutching that receiver, as if by clutching it, I might somehow hold on to his 21-year-old life, keep him in this world long enough for him to know it gets better. It does get better. I know this because it is now 2004, and it has gotten better for me. It got better because I'm no longer in 5th grade getting teased for being a tomboy with the other girls repeatedly calling me gay. Thank God that when I asked my mom if I might actually be whatever it is that they are saying I am, she said simply, "I did not need to worry about that right now. There would be plenty of time to figure that out." And thank God I always knew that my dad would also love me no matter what. It got better because it is also no longer 1995, when I was struggling as a closeted intern, not knowing how I could invite others into authenticity in their faith when I was not being honest myself. Thank God that when contextual ed director Donna Dunsane came from the seminary to visit me for that mid-year check-in at some restaurant in Northeast Portland near my internship site of Redeemer Lutheran Church, and I told her with tears in my eyes that I was not straight, Donna pushed all of the dishes out of the way across that table, reached across it, took me by the hand and said, "Robyn, God does not love you in spite of who you are. God loves you because of who you are." It got better because it is no longer 1996, when I was thinking I should withdraw from the seminary pastor candidacy process, since I would obviously be denied approval by the Sierra Pacific Synod Candidacy Committee of the ELCA. Thank God for openly gay Pastor Jeff Johnson, who came and spoke at the seminary to a group of us, mostly closeted seminarians, saying, "If you come out and tell the truth to the church, the system will kick you out. But we who are part of Lutheran, lesbian, and gay ministries and the Extraordinary Candidacy Project, we will be there for you. We will stand by you. We will accompany you. And we will try to find congregations with the courage to call you anyway." And thank God for, well, God, whose voice I'm pretty sure I heard inside my head saying, "Robyn, if I have already said yes to you, why are you saying no to yourself?" It got better because it is no longer 2002, when the same bishop who had presided at my ordination in 1999, after I told him and everybody I was unwilling to commit to the unjust policy of lifelong celibacy required by the ELCA, this bishop suddenly felt compelled now to open a disciplinary inquiry against me when I did what I said and entered into a partnered relationship. Thank God for Lutheran Church of Our Redeemer in Sacramento, who said, I was their pastor and they would stand by me no matter what he did. It got better for me, but it is not yet better for Sam. Strange thing is, I would not have been there to pick up Sam's call at 9:10 p.m. had I not stopped to check for church voicemails as I was leaving after the worship meeting at 8:40 p.m. The voicemail, the only voicemail there, was from my bishop saying that he wanted to talk to me about some concerns he had about an interview I had given that had just run in the Sacramento News and Review. You see, congregational leaders at Lutheran Church of Our Redeemer had set up the interview for me as a way of generating publicity for the church's 50th anniversary. After the interview, we were delighted to hear the newspaper would run a 2-page article, and I imagined a title such as "Congregation Celebrates 50 Years of Ministry." But when I opened that newspaper, the title I saw in enormous, I think capital letters, said "Ecclesiastical Disobedience," with something like a 1/4-page photo of me. The only reason I had been there to pick up the phone when Sam called is because I was already staring into that wall heater across from the secretary's desk, wondering if I had made a mistake in agreeing to do that interview. But now, on the phone, Sam tells me that his best friend had seen that article. She had looked up my congregation's phone number and given it to him, thinking that if he called me, perhaps something might get better for Sam. Sam tells me that he's a straight A pre-med student. So I realize it is not that Sam lacks intellectual support to be able to solve this problem. He tells me that his counselor has been encouraging him to accept himself. So I realize it's not a matter of him lacking emotional support. He tells me about the antidepressants his psychiatrist started him on a few months ago now, and I realize it's not that he lacks mental health support, but the church he grew up in teaches, and his parents believe, that being gay is an abomination. Sam was raised in the Christian faith, yet somehow does not know a God who will love and accept him. And for the first time, I see it. I mean, I clearly see it, that people like Sam are dying because they do not have enough theological support. They do not see that God does not love them in spite of who they are, but that God loves them because of who they are. I try to share that good news with Sam as best I'm able. Finally, he says he needs to go. He will not tell me where he is. He will not make commitments about what he will or will not do. I barely sleep that night, not knowing if Sam will live or die, or if I will ever know. It's funny to me now that I don't remember how many times after that I picked up the phone, hoping it was Sam, or how many days even passed. I only remember that this moment finally came when I found myself picking up the phone and hearing, "Hi, Pastor Robyn, this is Sam." He was not only alive, but he's now ready to come and meet me in person, ready to meet some of those gay male couples I had told him about, the ones who love God and are convinced that God loves them too. Oh, and when it came time for that meeting with my bishop a week or two later, thanks to Sam, there was no longer even a shred of regret in me for having given that interview. I sat down and the bishop said, "We need to talk about that article." "No," I replied. "We need to talk about Sam."